we have to detach ourselves from ethnic sentiments, from religious sentiments, from any kind of sentiment. You said it, and I totally agree with it. If you were in power and you see that government is like this, the Nigerian state is at the stage at which it is right now. You have been part of it for 20 or 16 consecutive years. Then, if we are to point fingers to anyone, then we should be able to point fingers to him as well.
All right, just a quick one. We have the president departing Abuja for France without any concrete terms what he's going for. Rather, Ajuri Ngalalis tells us he's going for private visit. Should we also hold him? He's a media man. Why are they playing Nigerians like probably Nigerians do not know what they're doing? You come out, you make that statement, but you're using our resources to fly to France without any concrete reason.
Well, that's interesting, Anthony, I must say, because I believe that the president many times had traveled to France before he became president. You know,
but we know that those times were for health reasons, right?
At different times.
This is the third trip.
At different times. Okay. You know, I don't want to. I do not work for the president, and I cannot speak on their behalf. Okay. But I just want us to see things objectively. You know, first of all.
But was it right not to tell us what he is not a private person no more?
Absolutely.
So we should know what he's going for.
Yes, I agree that Ajuri should have gone further to tell us Mr. President will be in France for such and such reason.
Wasn't it deliberate?
Definitely, the obvious is, yes, you have said the obvious.
All right, let's move on. Ondo State, quickly. Ayade Tua finally names his deputy and sacks the whole cabinet, not retaining even one. Does that tell us how much he has learned that he can't trust nobody? And
I think it's an interesting one.
6 hours after the sack,
I'm proudly from the Sunshine State.
Oh, state, perfect. So I'm asking.
I like what is happening. You know. Presidents, you know, in the country in the last months, you know, you look at River State that has been turbulent, control of power between who is on seat and the Godfather, and all of that, you know. I think it just comes to show somehow that although Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of blessed memory may have left power, his influence and the influence of his government and maybe his handlers, you know, totally have not been, you know, kept in the pocket.
Olugbenga, you're smiling like it's something you know we do not know.
I do not know anything.
Do you think he has the backing of the people?
Well, only time can tell as we speak right now, because everybody that has been in that cabinet has been known to work for the late governor of the state.
Okay.
I believe he has the sole right as a governorship candidate, you know, as a governor, to actually elect or select who works for him, to appoint, you know, and I guess that's what he has just done at the moment. But we must also look at it like you are saying. I don't know anything, but I believe that Governor Ayedatiwa is learning, you know, from the mistakes of the past. The very clear example would be that of River State Governor Hussein Fubara, who, you know, a lot of people say, why did you allow the former governor, your godfather, you know, to appoint everyone for you? You retained his commissioners, you retained his SAs, you retained his aides. I mean, why do you do that? I mean, it shows that perhaps the governor, you know, wants to take charge of his government. He wants to be able to decide and tell people what to do and have them react and respond to him accordingly.
Okay, for the deputy governor he has chosen, do you think he made the right choice picking someone who was a deputy clerk of the National Assembly? Do you think he was going for experience or loyalty in the person of Ade Lami?
Let me just throw it back to you this way. How many deputy governors are actually experienced? You don't learn the job of being a governor or a deputy governor, you know, by being a former one. If you have been one, you will not be one again. So if you have been a governor, you probably, if you were a deputy governor, the next thing you probably will be aiming for will be a governor. So one of the things that matters, by the way, is competence, experience in the government circle. And I believe that for somebody who has been the first deputy clerk at the National Assembly, he has a robust understanding of governance, you know. Maybe at the legislative...
Do you think he picked him because of has an eye for upcoming elections, someone who's got clout within the state affairs, and also in city, looking at Abuja also?
When you talk about clout, I want to believe that there are so many qualified politicians in that regard and within the state who he might have probably gone for. I think he just goes for, which is very important and vital, by the way, that you have to go for somebody you understand and you know you can work with effectively. I guess that's what he's gone for. And I also believe that the deputy, he also considered some sort of respect, because the person he chose right now is from the same part of the state where his former boss, the late governor, came from, talking about Owo, where the former governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, came from. So maybe out of that respect, to say, okay, let us continue this legacy and, complete this tenure. Maybe that is why I want to suggest. I wouldn't know.
All right, let's look at national asset sale. The federal government is looking at selling 5 power stations for $1 billion. But there were some concerns raised that these 5 power plants could go as much as $5 billion. So why $1 billion? And the government goes ahead to say, okay, the negotiations are ongoing. So why come out to tell Nigerians you're going to sell it for $1 billion? Then when concerned citizens raise an alarm, those in the sector raise an alarm to say, no, we know that this power plant should go for as much as 5, and you now say it's ongoing. Is this a subtle way to test the waters and probably somebody trying to play fast on Nigerians here?
I think where we should even start the conversation from, that Nigerians really need to know would be, why are we selling our power plants? Have we achieved, a stable power supply, the number of megawatts, that we ought to have as a country? What are the alternatives, to these plants that are being sold? What will happen to these power plants when they are being sold? Are they going to be managed by this person to whom it is being sold to? And if it will be managed, does that mean that the power sector is totally going to be under the control of the private sector? I think before we start talking about the price. Now, when we come to the issue of the price, it's an interesting thing.
Just to let my producer know that we are talking about the national asset sale now, talking about federal government selling 5 power plants for $1 billion. That's the topic we're looking at right now. Okay, sorry not to cut your conversation.
All right, so I said it's important, that government does things transparently.
Yeah.
One of the things that we have witnessed for so long in this country is waste. Is also fraud. There are so many cases in courts now that has to do with corruption, that has to do with fake contracts, that has to do with. I think this should be checked. It is very interesting, that it has come to the front burner of conversations, and it shows that somehow Nigerians are actually waking up to their responsibility, which is calling the government to account, telling them to account for whatever it is, they have been appointed for. Now, the government is already aware that the people will not sleep when these assets are sold. If an asset that is worth $5 billion is now being announced for $1.1 billion to $1.5 billion, what happened? Has it deteriorated? What happened to the value? Why did the value go down so low? So these are issues, and they know that Nigerians are asking questions, and I think this will inform the decisions going forward.
All right, let's look at, because we're global television, we'll also be looking at the global scene. We have a global talk here on the foreign scene. We're looking at a Guinea military leader promoted to general. In the space of since 2020 to 2021, we've seen a lot of coups in Africa, Burkina Faso, Mali, and all. Do you think with Guinea promoting the junta leader, who is a colonel, that's a colonel Mamadi, to a general, means they don't have the plans of, going back to a civilian rule, even though he says this is a transition period? Is this a very sad commentary for Africa?
While that is a big concern to everybody, I think differently, really. Okay. I think I do not support juntas and any government, that will come by force. I believe that every government should be a government of the people, that the people totally agree upon. But who says that the best form of government for that country is what we are talking about? What if there are other forms of government, that the people that will suit the people, that will provide governance for them? You don't forget that that same country, they have decried, the former democratic government. It has not delivered the benefits of the so-called democracy that they have practiced. I believe very much in democracy and its ability to heal all the ills of society. I believe very much in the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. But if it will be the government of the people, for the people, and by the people, it probably should not, perhaps, for that particular political nomenclature should not answer the name. I'm not saying. And,
but is it fair? Because in 2020, the people of Guinea voted Alpha Condé as their first democratic elected president. Then you come in 2021, overthrow him. How do you justify?
Well, that tells you that.
Is that the will of the people?
That tells you really.
But
that
the will of the military.
It tells you really.
Is that not the will of the military?
Yeah, that's what I'm coming to.
Okay.
It tells you straight away that democracy has not taken its root in that place, in that country. For a long time, for the number of years that the military have always sustained itself through juntas from one state to the other in the country, it shows that the people right now, maybe with the help of the international community and neighboring African countries, can help them find their way to the ideal kind of government that they need. And maybe that's why, this cry is coming out at the moment. The promotion of to a general of the military leader at the moment obviously tells a message
But does that do Guinea any good? Does it do Guinea any good?
The question we should ask is, what is the level of development? How much is the current government, delivering the dividends of governance to the people? I'm not saying, once again, I have to reiterate it emphatically, that I do not support any military juntas. I do not support. But I think that the people should find out, just like we need to do, in every part of Africa, what system of government best suits us, and how will the dividends of leadership, how will the assets, how will the resources of a country be properly managed and channeled to the people, to the point that the least person in the society is able to benefit from them. I think that's the major thing that we should continue to look at.
All right, before we wrap it up, let's quickly look at the Plateau killings. Gunmen killed 30, and we've got barely 5 minutes to call it a wrap on the show. How sad is this? Just 24 hours ago, we had the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Omofan, place curfew on Mangu local government area, and same next day, 30 people are killed. The people have accused the military of conniving with this terrorist or bandit or whatever name you choose to call them to cause havoc. And they're saying they rather want the mobile police to be the ones protecting them than the military. Do you think this is a systemic approach to wipe out a certain ethnic group?
Well, this has been the conversation, especially where Plateau is concerned for more than 2 decades now, or close to 2 decades now, if we all remember. And I think it is high time, we go ahead and find a permanent solution to it. A lot of people have said one of the major solutions is the issue of having community policing. And I think I go with that idea because you talk about the military, you say the military is polarized, you talk about the security agencies, and if these agencies
it's usually the military that is being labeled as being polarized most times, especially these killings. We even remember the December killings. Because they are the ones that have been stationed.
What is our security architecture? When you leave military, the next you go to is police, and then you go to civil defense. The same people, you will hear the Nigerian people say that police, they cannot tackle such, they should bring soldier, they should bring this. You and me know that these are the conversations that we usually have. Why are they bringing police? They are not serious. So now it tells us that the issue has gone beyond just speculations. It's a serious issue. It is on our table, and I think it is the responsibility of not just the governor at this time, of the entire country to deal with it, because that place is being decimated by the day. Only God knows how many people have really died. A lot of people are displaced. A lot of people cannot return to their homes, especially in that Mango area, for quite a long time. And it is really sad. That's what's repeating across Nigeria, but taking different shapes.
Okay, there's also the issue of talking to the former House of Assembly Speaker today during a program earlier. He said one thing they noticed was there are certain areas where people are killed and the Fulanese and other ethnic groups come there to do mining, and the military people do not go there to try to stop them. Is it that they pay royalties to these military formations? A quick one there, just got 1 minute.
I think that's a big indictment on the military, and the military has to prove itself, that it is not in support of some of these thoughts. And the way to do that is to take decisive action, where curtailing this growing, gruesome murders of people in Mangu is concerned in Nigeria.
All right, that's how much time is going to allow us to deal with all the topics we're looking at on today's edition of the program, The Desk. It's been amazing having Olubenga George, who is a journalist, a writer, I dare to say, and a strong activist, a spokesperson on the show to help us look at all these very important stories. Thank you very much, and we hope, hopefully on Friday, you'll be part of the crew that will help us to look at other big issues in Africa. All right, that's how we call it a wrap. My name remains Anthony Momodu, saying thank you for joining me on The Desk.